age did you start playing football?
I'd say I joined my first team at 13, basically. Yeah.
So growing up, did you have an idol in your life that you looked up to in football?
As in a player or just anybody? Player, when I was little, 𝗧𝗵𝗲 for Milan was my guy. I loved him. Yeah. Yeah, I actually know him relatively well. So
He
I'm
scored
a big
some freaky.
Yeah. They weren't all pretty, but he got the job done, you know. Got the job done about 315 times if I remember right. So not a bad player at all, you know.
You yourself, have you always been a midfielder, or is that something that's changed?
It's actually it's changed a lot. I've been playing more right and left back right now, but I start off as a winger, anywhere up top really. When I was playing non-league, I was right wing, left wing, striker. Then I joined the academies. At Reading, I played mostly still winger and striker. Then at Milan, they kind of introduced me to playing central midfield, not as in like the central one. Like say if you're playing a 4-3-3, the two outside ones. So I played a lot there. I also played right and left back a lot there. And at the time, I actually played center back a bit, but obviously I'm about 5'10"-ish. So the more we went up the levels, that wasn't really going to work out for me. So no, I mean, still to this day, I switch around positions a lot. I'm not a one position type player. So yeah.
But that's a really important thing to a lot of teams. You see, even in the Euro now, we have
Yeah.
You got players that need to be good.
For sure. No, I mean, obviously, I think it's important to specialize in a position. But if you can offer more than that, then I think that definitely helps you a lot.
So can you give us a little more insight into that AC Milan youth?
Yeah. So I joined as an under 15. I actually didn't get to make my debut until halfway through my second season because I played in a very lower level than Sunday League. It was really a joke of a club. It was the B team for like a small American team. It was called. I mean, no, I don't really want to say joke of a team and mention the name now, but and basically the reason that's relevant is if you sign for a team overseas and then try to sign for someone else, like for example the US, and then in Italy before you're 18. It's actually really hard for FIFA to register you. And that's what they kind of do to stop the big academies just buying anyone from anywhere in the world. And so it took me a year and a half to get permission to play for Milan. And so the first year and a half was really just about learning because, I mean, I was an okay player, but I was very, very rough, as in like, I'd only been playing serious football, academy football for a couple months before I joined Milan. And Milan are one of the best academies in Italy. My youth side in particular, the 2001s, we won the 𝗧𝗵𝗲. It was probably, along with the 98s, one of the best teams the Milan youth sides had in a long time. So I had a hard time at first, no doubt. First year and a half, up until I started playing really. And so it was more about just a learning experience. The style of football there is all possession, intelligence-based play, pressing high, playing, just positive football, attacking.
So when
I didn't really.
Squad,
Sorry?
When you did break into that squad, when you actually did you make that starting 11 every time, or was there still that struggle?
No. I mean, I rarely, really, honestly, I have no problem saying it just because I also think it's important for people to know, your time's going to come when it's right, Sometimes I rarely played, honestly, even the first year after. I had a decent spell where the manager started to trust me more. I played in a couple of tournaments. I would at least get off the bench almost every game, So I was getting some minutes and I was definitely growing, but the players that I had ahead of me were almost all national team starters. Like, and if not national team starters, like players who, in my opinion, if it wasn't for maybe a little bit of politics and stuff, could have definitely been playing in the national team. So it was very good players. I don't think I was quite there, to be honest, but I think I held my own. The third year was probably going to be my year because a lot of the players my age went up to the Primavera, and the coach was telling me, like, this is going to be your chance. And unfortunately, I got a hamstring injury during preseason, came back, did my meniscus, came back in April almost. And by then it was kind of end of the season. So a bit of a, I mean, looking back at it now, I think it was almost a blessing in disguise that I got to go back to England and kind of learn a different type of football. I don't think I was the most professional player back then. I was young, but I went out a bit too much, had a bit too much fun, you know? So that's probably part of the reason why I was injured all season. And like I said, it was hard to see the kind of Milan adventure end that way, but it was definitely a blessing in disguise, like I said, you know.
And you could definitely learn from it.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I always say I think you learn something new from every experience, but the Milan one was the one that really started it all because, I mean, I came in as somebody, honestly, I remember the first year they made fun of me because I couldn't even do kickups, you know? And I left and I'm not going to say I was a great player or anything, but I was ready to take the next step, you know, and
yeah, of course.
And do my thing, yeah.
So now you coming from this big family name in Italy. You're going.
Yeah.
Do you want to be known as the Galliani name, or do you want to be known as yourself?
Yeah. So actually, I'd say up until I was probably like 18, 19, I was very, very shy about it. Like I'd use like a different surname and like try to hide it almost at all costs. I think my AC Milan teammates actually found out about a year into me playing for the team just because I tried to hide it that much. It was only until I was actually able to play official games. And obviously before a game, they say your last name, then you have to say your first name. So it's Galliani, Adrian, okay. I can't really hide that, you know. And no, I kind of wanted to hide away from that, like be off the spotlight. But at a certain point, I kind of just realized it's not going to go anywhere, you know. Just have to embrace it. And obviously, I want to be myself, but you have to accept that that's going to be on the back of the shirt and, you know, try to make them proud. So, yeah, no, I definitely don't mind it anymore. And also it's helped that I don't play in Italy anymore. That was also part of the decision-making behind leaving, you know, trying to make a name outside of the Italian football system.
And so you yourself now, at one point in your career, going back to Italy to play, or is it something that's been done and you want to move?
I definitely don't intend to finish my career without having played in Italy, you know? I mean, it's where my family is, it's where all my friends are, and I definitely I'd love to come back, but I'd like to come back as like a fully ready player. Like at 20, I still haven't had my first full professional season as in like first team. Like I feel like I'll need a couple of years to really settle in as a player and like find myself on the pitch. But once I've done that, like if the right offer comes, I mean, that's definitely the goal, you know?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I'd love to play here.
And I know from my understanding, you played a lot in the academy.
Yeah.
Program here in the United States. What's the playing style like compared to European football compared in the United States?
So I'll be honest, I could be a bit harsh on IMG, but there was a couple of factors that didn't really make it that fair for them. So first of all, the DA was the development academy. It was the league we played in, under 19s, the equivalent of Primavera over in Italy. It wasn't really set up very well, and it went bankrupt, I think, the year, or I'm not sure if bankrupt is the right term for a league, but it failed basically the year after I left. And so things weren't organized very well, I think. And to add to that, I think I coincidentally was part of one of the worst IMG teams in the last coming years. IMG did produce quite a few players, really. I think I might be wrong. I think maybe Pulisic played there, 𝗧𝗵𝗲 for Dortmund, passed there, Altidore, Donovan. So, I mean, quite clearly, and there's a couple of players that play today who were part of the system there. My team, we really just weren't very good. Like, to go from AC Milan to IMG was a step down, like, I won't lie. But I don't think that reflects on the whole of the MLS, because I remember we'd go and we'd play away games against Atlanta United in Orlando City SC, and they were proper teams. Like, I had a friend who played for Red Bulls, and I'm not going to say they were as good as Atlanta youth team or anything, but you could tell there were some proper players in there who were going to make the first team, or at least make a career out of themselves. So I say the IMG experience for me personally wasn't great, but I think for players playing over there, there's definitely good academies and good places to develop, without a doubt.
Well, in July 2019, you moved from the U19 to Watford in England. What was that transition like, from going from Italy to England?
Yeah, so it was all a bit hectic, really. I was on loan from Milan, and I was kind of planning to go back, but obviously I was given the chance to go to Watford on a trial, and away from Milan, I thought it was a breath of fresh air after 3 years there. And like I said, I was enjoying my time there, but I wasn't a starter, so I felt like it was kind of my time to try and find a place where I could get my minutes and develop. Obviously, it didn't work out at Watford either. I wasn't given a contract eventually, but it did kind of pave the way for Nottingham Forest. So I think it worked out very well, but it was definitely a bit hectic in those years, moving 2 or 3 clubs in the space of maybe 16 months,
Of course. And now with this move from Nottingham Forest, how did that come about? It happened so fast. How did that happen?
Yeah, so Nottingham was a great place for me. I think it's probably the place. Every place developed me differently. If I have to say the place that developed me the most in terms of skill, it was probably Milan, just because when I came to Milan, I was nothing, and they turned me into like a football player. But Nottingham was the place that got me prepared to play the actual game at a decent level, So I stayed there about 1.5 years, and in that time we changed 3 managers. Even the first team changed 2, I think, and just a lot of stuff went on. And got to February, and even though the season started off pretty well, and I thought I was definitely going to stay here another year, it wasn't working out exactly the way I wanted it to. I could have definitely stayed, but the sporting director gave me a shot to go to Greece. They know that I had moved a lot in the past, so it wouldn't have been a problem transitioning, even though I don't speak the language and stuff. And it really just came about on the spot. Like a week before I went there, I don't think, in my mind, I didn't think there was any chance that I'd be moving before the end of the season. But, they just, classic football move, just pack your bags and go. And off I went, to Athens, and it's been great there. So couldn't be happier,
Have you been involved in any training sessions?
Yeah, so I think I flew over on the 28th of February and had to quarantine about 8 days. But after that, up until mid-June, I was training with the under 20 side and just trying to keep fit and kind of just show them what I had in my locker to see if they could help me for next year. And seems like it's worked out well. I think I've done well there, and now I'm excited to see what's going to come of it still, since nothing's certain. I'm not in preseason yet. I'm still in the break, but yeah, I've been training for about 3 months in Greece now.
Wow.
Yeah.
You've heard ups, obviously, and what do you say is their biggest challenge, and how did you overcome it?
My biggest challenge, well, I'll say two. The first one initially was really just the surname. I could feel every time I stepped on the pitch with the Milan shirt that, like, not that something was wrong, but just I had like an extra set of eyes on, that just couldn't make a mistake or else I'd be labeled, Galliani, Galliani, Galliani. Rightfully so. I mean, I don't blame anyone. So I'd say that towards the beginning of my career was the biggest challenge. And now, I mean, I embrace it and I think it's been great for me, but it's probably just been the constant moving. I'm used to it. It's honestly not that bad, but obviously if you get your rhythm in a place and you stay somewhere 3-4 years and you play constantly, I think you get suited to the style of play and you know your teammates and everything. And I don't think I've had a place where I've really been able to do that yet, because since I've played for Milan, so since under 17s, I haven't stayed at a place more than a year, really, year and a half at Nottingham, but half of it was on trial. So I'd say, yeah, the constant moving is a bit of a challenge, but whatever you have to do, whatever you have to do to get the opportunity, and I don't mind it. Yeah.
So let's just say you could be anything but a footballer.
Yeah. Anything but a footballer? Well, do other sports count, or should this be like a?
Yeah, why not?
No. So, I mean, it's not realistic. I mean, I like the NBA.
Okay.
I think it's a great sport, but I'm going to repeat that I'm 5'10", and I can't jump 40 inches either, so that's not going to happen. But probably I like fishing a lot, so maybe a fisherman or something,
Yeah, that's cool. All right.
Fished it. Yeah, when I was a kid, did a lot of it. Unfortunately, I haven't done as much since I moved to Europe, but would like to get back on it,
Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
So, let's talk Euro 2020. So we did it.
All right.
Best player. Who is it for you?
He didn't play semifinal or final, but honestly, I think I fell in love with 𝗧𝗵𝗲. I bought the shirt already. Just absurd. I'm not even gonna lie. I don't think I had watched him play in general. Since I've spent a lot of time in the UK, I watched the Prem a lot more than I watched Serie A. And yeah, it was absurd. Honestly, the first couple of games, it just seemed like everything was so easy for him. He was so powerful. I think he's a right-footed left back as well, so he's got both feet. Unpredictable. He's quite strong defensively as well, and he just had so much to offer. It's a shame with the Achilles, honestly. When I saw him go down, even though we beat Belgium, like in the back of my head, I couldn't be fully happy,
Of course. And as soon as we were going into the Spain game, like you felt it. Like everyone.
Yeah.
And
he made a big difference.
Yeah, of course.
But
Go ahead.
But I have to say, after having mentioned him, Emerson did an amazing job as well. He held his own. He did very well.
Yeah.
And I mean, I feel like it's a hard question to answer just because I feel like there's so many consistent performers. You could say the goalkeeper was unreal. Chiellini, Bonucci were. I mean, I don't even have to mention it by now. I think every Italian knows they do their thing every time. Jorginho's become an incredible player. I think this was his first major tournament for Italy as well. Chiesa definitely too. I think he's our most direct and threatening forward. And I just love every single one of them. Honestly, I'm still shocked about it.
Yeah, still to this day, I can't believe actually. But so for you, like that, you're living there. You're living the life. You're living the culture. What does it mean for you guys?
Sorry, my friends over there just doing some stupid stuff. Could you repeat that for me?
Yeah, so for us, it's living the culture, for living in the country. What does it feel like? What's the vibe?
So it was actually the first major tournament that I spent in Italy, and it was the first time that I really felt the reaction of all the Italian people. And I mean, the only thing I'm going to mention is the day we won it. I'd never seen anything like it before. You know, I was obviously in Milan. I watched it in a bar pretty close to the center, and everyone was just hundreds, thousands of people, I think, in Piazza Duomo. You know, you saw Italian flags everywhere, fireworks. You could feel it like it was really that important, you know, and to win it at Wembley against the English, I've never felt anything like that in my life. I think that kind of happiness, I can only imagine what it feels like to win it. It's incredible, honestly.
Oh. So now this is the usual question of you. So for all our players that are now players who play Sunday League, still that have a dream to go, what advice would you give them to take their football?
Well, the first thing is to say that, I mean, I think we all started there, really. I mean, very few are privileged to have just gone straight into an academy at age 6, 7, 8. And so even though it might seem like you're quite far away, I mean, you're just one good game away, really. You just have to get a bit lucky sometimes. And at the same time, try to do as much as you can as well, you know, reach out to people, create connections, get to know people, you know, like sell yourself, just make a CV, contact as many people as you can. And obviously, if you've got the skill, just know that eventually the opportunity will come. And yeah, just keep working for it, really. I mean, it's cliche. I know everybody says the same thing, but that's all you can do. Sometimes you just have to keep going at it. And you know, it's the people who keep going that eventually do make it. So that's all I'd say, really.
Love that. Thank you for joining me.
For sure.